My name is Cherie, and on the morning of my 30th birthday, I walked into what I thought was a dream come true. Balloons floating near the ceiling, a cake sparkling with candles, the scent of vanilla frosting in the air, and music humming softly in the background. For a moment I actually froze in the doorway, overwhelmed. It looked perfect, the kind of celebration I hadn't dared to expect in years. And then my eyes landed on the banner. "Congratulations, Amanda." My heart stuttered. I blinked once, twice, waiting for my brain to catch up, waiting for some kind of explanation that didn't come. It wasn't my party. It wasn't my day. It was my sister's graduation celebration, and I was just there, a prop in her spotlight. So I did the only thing I could do. I smiled, nodded, and slipped away quietly before anyone noticed that my throat was closing up. 2 weeks later, that same sister would be calling me from a police station, sobbing, begging me to fix things. If you've ever been betrayed by the people who should have been your greatest protectors, the ones who should have clapped the loudest when you finally got a little happiness, you'll understand. I should have known better. God knows I should have. But for one perfect, foolish minute, I let myself believe it. The lights, the laughter, the crowd. I thought they were for me. That someone in my family had finally remembered my birthday. The last 3 years, they'd forgotten it entirely. Once because Amanda had a migraine, and the whole household went into crisis mode. I'd gotten used to being invisible. But that day, standing there with my coat half off and everyone turning toward me, clapping and smiling, I believed. It felt like walking into a movie scene. That soft, dizzy moment before reality hits. I could almost taste it, the sweetness of being seen. Then I saw it. That banner stretched across the fireplace, the gold letters catching the light like they were mocking me. "Congratulations, Amanda." My stomach dropped. My smile froze. And before I could even process it, Amanda swept into the room like a queen making her grand entrance. She wore a white bodycon dress, her graduation cap tucked under her arm, her phone already poised for selfies. She didn't just walk, she floated, basking in the attention like it was oxygen. The applause doubled when she arrived. "Oh my God, you guys," she squealed, fake tears in her voice. "This is everything. I'm literally going to cry." She didn't. Amanda never cries unless there's a camera nearby or a crowd to witness it. I just stood there, still holding the small gift bag I'd bought for my dad to give me, because I knew they wouldn't think to get me one themselves. That was fine. I was used to being forgotten. But this was a new kind of humiliation. I found Mom in the kitchen, her back to me as she adjusted a tray of hors d'oeuvres. I asked as calmly as I could manage, "Did you mean to do this on my birthday?" She turned, her face cycling through confusion, guilt, and finally irritation. "Well, sweetheart, we thought we could celebrate both. You don't like a lot of attention anyway, right?" Before I could even reply, Dad called out from the couch, thinking he was helping. "We ordered your favorite cake. See, we didn't forget." It was true. They had ordered a cake. But it wasn't mine. It had Amanda's face printed on it, her face, in a graduation cap, with the words, "Congratulations, Amanda," written in glittering gold frosting. "Really?" I said, staring at it. "You remembered my favorite cake, but forgot whose birthday it was?" Amanda finally noticed me then. She walked over, all glowing skin and confidence, and gave me a perfunctory air kiss. "Oh hey, you didn't tell me you were coming." "That's chill, though. We can share the party unless that makes you feel weird." She laughed lightly, tossing her hair like she'd just done me a favor. Then she added without shame, "Hope you don't mind. We kind of used your credit card for the cake." "It was just easier." My smile cracked. I blinked at her, praying she was joking. But I knew that tone. She wasn't. My hand shook as I opened my banking app, and there it was. Clear as day, $900 to a catering company. $500 for a venue deposit made 3 days ago. $200 for floral arrangements tagged. For Amanda's big day. Every single one charged to me. I felt the heat rise in my neck. Not from anger, not yet, but from shame. The kind that makes you want to shrink out of your own skin. I didn't make a scene, didn't shout, didn't cry. I just turned around, walked out the door, and drove home. I think someone called after me. Amanda, maybe. You're seriously leaving? Are you going to be dramatic about this? I didn't answer, because I wasn't being dramatic. I was done. They thought I'd cool off, that I'd come back like I always did, ready to smooth things over. But I didn't. What I did instead, quietly, methodically, was file a police report. And 2 weeks later, Amanda would be sobbing at the police station, begging for my help. The truth is, I should have seen it coming. The first time I realized my sister could get away with anything, she was 6, and I was 8. She stole a $20 bill from Mom's purse. I found it hidden in her Barbie dream house and told our parents. Amanda burst into tears, pointed at me, and said, "She made me do it." I was grounded for 2 weeks. Amanda got ice cream for being so upset. That was the beginning. Amanda didn't grow out of that phase. She refined it. She learned that tears and charm were her weapons, and my parents were her audience. Her whole life was a performance, and they clapped for every act. When I got a B+, they'd say, "Next time aim higher." When Amanda got a C, it was, "She's doing her best." When she borrowed my laptop for a school project and returned it with a cracked screen, I asked her to pay for the repair. She rolled her eyes. "I'm literally a student. You make money. Don't be selfish." When she wanted to study abroad in Italy, my parents raided the emergency fund. When I needed $600 for a car repair after a layoff, they told me to learn to budget. I paid for my own degree, juggling 2 jobs, barely sleeping. Amanda got a fully funded education, 0 student loans, and an allowance to focus on her studies. I told myself it didn't matter, that I was the older one, the responsible one, the fixer. I wore that label like armor until it started to cut into me. Then came the medical lie. A year ago, Amanda called late one night crying, or pretending to. Said she needed $1,800 for a specialist. Told me not to tell Mom and Dad because it might be serious, but she didn't want to worry them. I sent the money immediately. 2 weeks later, she posted pictures from a luxury yoga retreat in Tulum. Healing and finding myself, I called her, furious. She sighed and said, "I was having an emotional crisis. You don't understand how stressful school is." When I told Mom and Dad, they said, "Let it go, Cherie." Amanda's always been sensitive. That's when I started pulling away, slowly, carefully, changed passwords, canceled shared cards, drew boundaries she didn't even notice, until she crossed them again. Because apparently, using my money for Amanda's graduation bash wasn't theft. It was easier. That night, after leaving the party, I sat in my car for nearly an hour. Not crying, not angry, just empty, because it wasn't about the money. It was about what it meant. I was never going to be seen. Never going to be chosen, my mom texted later. You embarrassed Amanda by leaving. You made everything about you again. I stared at the message until the words blurred. Then I scrolled through Amanda's new Instagram post. Her laughing beside the cake I paid for, surrounded by people who'd clapped when I walked in. Caption: So grateful for my amazing family. I wasn't tagged. Not once. That was when my sadness finally turned into something else. Cold, precise fury. The kind that doesn't shout. It strategizes. So I gathered proof. Screenshots, statements, receipts, every transaction, every timestamp. The floral order, the venue, the catering, all with Amanda's name on the paperwork and my card attached. Even an old text from her saying, "You're not going to make a big deal about your birthday, right? I kind of want the spotlight, LOL." It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was planned. I walked into the police station with a calm I hadn't felt in years. The officer taking my statement hesitated when I said it was my sister. I smiled faintly. "It's fine," I told him. "I'm not trying to ruin her life. I'm just done letting her ruin mine." 2 days later, Amanda texted me, "Hey, can you Venmo me for the Uber from the party? It was technically your night, too." I didn't reply. And 2 weeks after that, at 6:13 a.m., my phone rang. I let it ring 3 times before I answered. Her voice came through in ragged gasps. "Cherie, oh my God, I'm at the police station. They said there's our report. A fraud report with your name on it. What did you do?" I sat up in bed, turned on the light, and blinked into the phone like it could give me strength. "Oh, so that's the party you're shocked about, not the part where you stole from me." Silence. "I didn't steal," she said instantly on the defense. "It was a party for both of us. Mom said it was fine." "You're seriously doing this to your own sister?" There it was. The classic Amanda defensive strategy. Cry first, then play the family loyalty card. And if that doesn't work, spin it into a martyr monologue. "Are you being questioned?" I asked calmly. "Ah, yes. They said they need me to verify the purchases. And the card wasn't mine. And now I might get charged with fraud. Sherry, you're ruining my life over a birthday party." "No," I said, "you're ruining your own life over years of treating me like a walking ATM later. I found out what really happened." Turns out Amanda had taken a photo of my credit card months ago when I left my wallet on the counter during a family visit. She used the card, manually typed in the number, expiration date, and security code to pay for the venue deposit, the cake, the decorations. When the officer asked how she got the car details, she said, "I thought she wouldn't mind. It was for both of us." She admitted she never asked, never told me, never even hinted. The officer asked, "Did she give you permission?" Amanda just blinked and said, "Well, she didn't say no." That's the level of logic we were working with. By that afternoon, my phone was blowing up like a fire alarm. Texts from my mom, my dad, even my aunt, who I hadn't spoken to in 3 years. "Mom, you went too far." Amanda's devastated. "Dad, you really want to throw your own sister in jail over a misunderstanding?" "Aunt Karen, whatever happened to talking things through like adults? Not everything has to be a lawsuit." I didn't respond to any of them. Not because I didn't care, but because I finally cared about myself more. That night, Amanda came to my apartment. I didn't know she knew where I lived. I still don't know how she got in the building. Probably manipulated a neighbor, or threatened a delivery guy, or cried at the buzzer. All her go-to tactics. I opened the door just enough to see her face. Red, tear-streaked, and blotchy. But not in a sorry way. In an I'm still the victim way. "I'm not here to fight," she said. I need you to drop the report, please. They said this could go on my record. It could affect jobs, travel, everything." I looked at her, not just looked, really saw her. And what I saw wasn't a scared sister. It was a girl who had never been told no and still didn't know what it meant. "You lied about needing money for medical treatment," I said. "You stole me credit card. You threw yourself a party on my birthday and acted like you was the inconvenience. And now you want me to fix it." "I didn't know it would go this far," she whispered. "That's the problem," I said. "It never goes far for you because people like me always let it slide." Cue the tears. Round 2, maybe 3. I'd lost count, but they came anyway. "You're doing this to punish me," she said. "You've always been jealous." That one actually made me laugh, genuinely jealous of Amanda. "Yeah," I said, "you're right. I've always dreamed of being the sibling who manipulates her way through life and ruins other people's credit scores." Her eyes narrowed. The crying stopped like someone flipped a switch. "You think you're so perfect," she snapped. "But you're just bitter. You're pathetic. You think being right makes you better than everyone else." "No," I said, "but it does mean I'm not paying for a crime he didn't commit." I closed the door on her mid-rant. Didn't slam it, didn't yell, just closed it because I was done being the audience to Amanda's one-woman drama. Over the next week, things escalated. My parents started calling daily. Not to apologize, not to ask how I was, but to demand that I make things right. Apparently, Amanda's job offer at a marketing firm had been put on hold due to the investigation. One of the background checks flagged the police report, and instead of facing the consequences, Amanda had gone full meltdown. "Are you happy now?" My mom yelled over the phone. "She's devastated. Her future is ruined." "I was never trying to ruin her future," I said. "I was trying to protect mine." They didn't hear me. They never do. A few days later, my dad left me a voicemail. His tone was calm, quiet, almost gentle. "Daughter, we know you felt underappreciated, and I get it. I really do. But this isn't the way. This is family. And family means sometimes we do things we don't like. That's just how it is." I played the message twice. Once to hear what he said, once to hear what it didn't say. He never once acknowledged Amanda's actions. Never once apologized. Just gently urged me to let it go. To bend again, to keep the peace. And for the first time in my life, I understood something. Keeping the peace was just code for keep being quiet while they take advantage of you. A week after that, I got a message from Amanda. No emojis, no passive-aggressive lols, just a simple line. "You win. I hope you're proud of yourself." And the truth is, I wasn't proud. I wasn't gloating. I wasn't even happy. I was just done. Done carrying guilt that wasn't mine. Done paying for mistakes I didn't make. Done playing the role of the silent, dependable sister while they applauded Amanda for breathing. They had pushed me out of every celebration, every spotlight, every space where it should have mattered. And now they were shocked I'd finally stepped into my own. By the time Amanda sent me that final text, "You win. I hope you're proud of yourself," I thought we'd reached the climax. I thought the drama had peaked, that the worst was over, that maybe finally they'd leave me alone. I was wrong, because apparently the one thing more dangerous than Amanda crying is Amanda cornered. And a cornered Amanda Combs with backup. 3 days after that text, my mom showed up at my office. She didn't even call ahead. Just walked right into the lobby like she owned the place and asked to speak with me urgently. When I came down, she looked me up and down like I'd personally betrayed the family bloodline. "I raised you better than this," she said. "No hello, no how are you. Just straight to the guilt." I motioned for us to step outside. She followed, her heels clacking like judgment across the pavement. "You've humiliated your sister," she snapped. She might not get the job now. "Do you understand what this means? Her whole career could be ruined." I said, "Yeah, that's usually what happens when you commit fraud." Her face reened, not from shame, from fury. "You're doing this out of spite over one party. We raised you, Cherie. We paid for your school clothes, your sports, your food." "Right," I said. "And in return, I gave you a down payment on your house and covered your utilities for 2 years. But sure, let's talk about that one time in 5th grade you bought me sneakers." She actually had the nerve to say, "That was your choice. We never asked you to help." No, they never asked. They just expected. Expected me to pick up the slack when Amanda blew through her allowance. Expected me to cover the gap when Dad forgot the power bill. Expected me to be grateful for scraps while Amanda was handed everything on a silver platter, including my birthday. "I'm not dropping the report," I said. "And if Amanda has any sense left, she'll take the deal the officer offered her and move on." My mom glared at me. "You're not just punishing Amanda, you're punishing this family." I shrugged then. Maybe this family should have stopped treating me like a stranger with a checkbook. And I walked back inside, leaving her standing there fuming, arms folded in the same heels she'd probably worn to Amanda's party. The next escalation came 2 days later. On social media, Amanda posted a long-winded, vague reflection about family betrayal and how some people will stab you in the back just to feel taller. She didn't mention my name, but she tagged our entire extended family. Every cousin, every aunt, even grandma. The comments were a mix of concern and confusion. "Who would do that to you? You're so strong, Amanda. Rise above. Family is supposed to protect you, not attack you." I didn't reply, but I did screenshot every line. The next day, I woke up to 5 missed calls from relatives I hadn't spoken to since childhood, and 1 DM from our cousin Laya, who did know the full story and simply wrote, "They're drowning. Don't throw them a life raft." Amanda wasn't done. She emailed my boss. Let that sink in. She emailed my boss, pretending to be a concerned friend of the family, and claimed I was going through a personal crisis and might be lashing out at loved ones inappropriately. Luckily, my boss is the type of person who drinks black coffee, runs marathons, and doesn't tolerate nonsense. She forwarded the email to me with one line. "Let me know if I need to block anyone." I replied, "Might want to block Amanda. She's going through a full-time identity crisis." We laughed about it, but deep down, I was shaken. Amanda wasn't just panicking, she was spiraling, and she dragged down whoever she could to keep herself afloat. The police case moved faster than I expected. Maybe because the evidence was so clean. Maybe because Amanda's digital fingerprints were all over everything. Maybe because the officer handling the report was the kind of guy who didn't like being lied to. They offered Amanda a deal. Repay the full amount. Complete 100 hours of community service. Enroll in a financial accountability workshop. In return, no charges filed. No permanent record. All she had to do was admit fault, own up to it, learn something. She refused. Said it was humiliating. Said it would make her look guilty. The officer's reply, "You are guilty." Eventually her pride cracked, not because she suddenly developed self-awareness, but because the marketing firm that had been considering her application found out about the report. The offer was rescinded. No job, no launchpad, no dream career. Just Amanda sitting in her room in her parents' house, throwing tantrums between phone calls to lawyers she couldn't afford. Guess who didn't bail her out this time? My parents. They made one final attempt to reel me back in. In a group call, The tone was soft, calculated like a PR campaign. "We just want to talk," my mom said sweetly. Amanda was on the call too, silent for a moment, then, "I'm sorry. Okay. I didn't mean to hurt you." It was the flattest apology I've ever heard, like a child being forced to say sorry after shoving someone on the playground. "What exactly are you sorry for?" I asked, another pause. "For taking your card without asking. That's not what happened," I said. "You stole from me." The insolence on the other end was thick. "You've made your point," my dad said finally, voice cold. "So what now? You going to disown us? Is that what this is?" "No," I said. "I'm just done pretending any of this is normal." And then I hung up. No yelling, no drama, just quiet final clarity. 3 months later, Amanda had completed the workshop and was working part-time at a pet supply store. Our parents still hadn't spoken to me directly, but I'd moved out of state, gotten a promotion, a fresh apartment, a small group of friends who knew me as me, not Amanda's sister. One evening I got a message. "Amanda again, saw you moved. Hope things are good. I could really use someone to talk to." I stared at it for a while. Then I turned off my phone, made a cup of tea, and sat in my balcony, watching the city lights flicker like tiny silent fireworks. For once, my life wasn't about cleaning up her mess. And in that silence, I finally felt free. I still get mixed feelings about it sometimes. Not guilt exactly, just that little voice in your head that says, "What if you just let it go one more time?" But then I remember the years of silence, the stolen money, the birthdays that weren't mine, and I know I did the right thing. Still, what do you think? Was I too harsh? Or was it finally time someone held her accountable? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious how people see it. And if you like the story, or just enjoy watching family drama unfold that isn't yours, hit that subscribe button.